We got new information on the latest back and forth over the files related to convicted sex traffickers Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer has issued a slew of deposition subpoenas from multiple people, including the Department of Justice, former President Bill Clinton, and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. CBS News Justice reporter Jake Rosen following this development from Washington. So walk us through this, Jake.
Well, that's right. While the House is out, Reed, because of a different legislation relating to a potential floor-wide vote of potentially forcing the Department of Justice to release the Epstein files, James Comer, who leads the House Oversight Committee, and Democrats who are on that committee have not stopped pushing for more information coming from not just people in the government, but people who have covered and worked on these investigations going back 2 or 3 presidential administrations. We're talking former Attorney Generals William Barr and Jeff Sessions. We're talking about former FBI directors, Merrick Garland, who was the Attorney General under the Biden administration, in addition to obviously former President Bill Clinton and his wife, former First Lady Hillary Clinton, and former FBI Director James Comey, among many others. This is in an attempt to potentially bring out new information, but the bigger takeaway here is that the House Oversight Committee is actually going after, and again it's led by Republicans, is going after Trump's Department of Justice to get access to any and all potential conversations that were had under President Biden's watch between the Department of Justice and the White House relating to Jeffrey Epstein, but also they're going after all the files that are potentially in the possession of the Department of Justice to independently get access to those, to sort through them, to potentially wean out other information that the Department of Justice has not put out yet. It's another big step in Congress's now fight to force some transparency after the Trump administration, again, Reed, we've covered this for weeks, has promised some and then will kind of walk that back.
And you say all of the files, which is interesting, but is there any discussion in Washington, any question about why specific people have been named? You went through them. I'm especially interested in 2 names, former President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State, and before that, Senator Hillary Clinton.
Well, we know that, former President Clinton, to be clear to our audience, was on those flight logs and has been associated with Epstein and his associates for a number of years. That would certainly be the reason number 1. But whether you actually get to bringing him in front of this committee is a totally different question, in which, at least for Clinton and First Lady Hillary Clinton, it's more of an act of political move. Because very likely, Reed, former President Clinton would have to voluntarily go before this committee to offer new information. We've seen presidents before try to fight these out, going back to even the Truman administration fighting against, the Red Scare when he was accused of that, or President Trump. Think about 2022 when that House investigative panel was going after him for his actions on January 6th. President Trump sued, claiming that he had the separation of powers and the ability to not go before this committee, and eventually the committee kind of dropped that request. So it depends on what former President Clinton wants to offer here. But again, for some of these other people who are now private citizens and out of politics, it's certainly possible that they might come in and want to talk, and it's certainly possible that they point back to the Department of Justice, who's in charge now, and say, listen, you're going to have to go to them to get more information about what you're seeking here, because they, at least are, as of now, are in possession of all of these files.
Well, Jake, you rightly said we've been covering it for weeks. I'm going to catch that ball and toss it right back to you, because I have a feeling you'll be covering this for weeks still ahead. Good to talk to you, my friend. Thank you so much.